Good morning, everybody. You know what that music means. I am so sorry that I am a little bit late today. Actually, I'm a lot late. After vacation, I just cannot get myself back into the game. You ever feel that way? Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to our Hot Topic show. I am live. I was away, just so you guys know. I'm sure you already know I was away. I tried to do live one day, and we just had terrible, 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 terrible service. So if you're joining us on the YT, if you're joining us on TikTok, if you're on the gram, if you're wherever you're joining us this morning, we're so happy that you're here. What did you guys do? Where are you from? Good morning, Lemon Nation. I missed you guys. Did you guys miss me? Good morning from Oregon, says Trey Black. Hi, Trey. How are you? Um, yeah. Good morning. Someone says unmute. I'm not muted, am I? Am I muted? I don't think I'm muted. Anyways, I'm glad that you're here. I'm happy that you're here. I want to know where everyone is going from. Trey Black is from Oregon. Let's see who else. I just called that. We missed you, Don, says TikTok. Good morning from Port Allen, says Kimberly. Is that my niece? Good morning from May Money in the building is from Oakland, California. Los Angeles, Jamie Kizzy. Thank you, Jamie. So good to see you. Feels, yes, from Las Vegas. Wow, you guys are all over. Chicago on TikTok. Good morning. Ink Mind says Trump. Good morning. Yes, Trump. Trump is the president to be and doing some crazy shit. V is from Dallas. Hello. Stars and R. Hi, Don from Suffolk, New York. Hey, Suffolk County, my county. What's up, Suffolk? New Hope, Pennsylvania. I'm serious. Thank you. New Orleans, Louisiana. Daniel Sharp is here. Melbourne, Australia on TikTok. Whoa. So, hello, Chicago. I could call out all day. Man, boy, did I have some epiphanies. I'm so glad that I got this vacation. I was away for a week. I was in a very warm and sunny place in the Caribbean. It was great to be away. Tim and I needed to get away. We had a Friendsgiving, which was great that we have every year with our friends. It's like 30 of us. It's like 30 people who go down. We have this giant Thanksgiving table, and we do it at this beautiful place by the sea or whatever. It's a little bit indulgent, but it's the one vacation a year that I actually really look forward to because I get to spend it with my chosen family, my really good friends who carry me through the year when I can't be with my family, with my blood family and my birth family. But I get to be with them. And then my mom and my sister, I usually spend the holiday with them. And so there you go. So what do you do? Do you do anything special for Thanksgiving? What do you guys do? Anything fun? Lanice says, Don, got a nice tan. I did. I got a little bit of a tan. I tried to do some sunscreen, but I did not do a lot. Wow, look at you guys. Holy schmoly. And the engagement is crazy. So I'll just read some stuff and then we're going to get into it. Michelle says, greetings from Sarasota, Florida. Oh my gosh, I wish I was in Florida because it's warm now. Betsy Maldonado says, hi, Don. Good morning from Orange County, California. What is it like there? Hi, Don. We miss you in Philly. I miss you too as well. Susie Q. Tracy Howard said that. Susie Q says it is freezing in Chicago. Don't I know it? I used to live there, Susie. Toronto, Canada. Mr. Bill, how is it there? San Francisco, is it chilly? Good morning. Thank you, Andrea, for your support. Good morning from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hi, Andrea C. Thank you. I appreciate you. Give you a nice shout out for the early support back from vacation. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Tell me what you did. Reservations. That's my MO. That's what you did for Thanksgiving? Great. I ate so much. It's crazy. Every meal was planned. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. I drank a lot of wine. I have a friend who loves wine and buys expensive wines. I did that. Cold in Baltimore, says Nicole Miller. I did a lot of that. But also, I was in a place that's very hilly. And I'll put some of the video up so you can see it. It's very hilly. So I walked up 3 days. I usually try to do 4 days when I'm there. I only did 3 because I was overserved one night. But we do almost 7 miles. And I mean, it is like these crazy, crazy uphills and then downhills. Look, I'm sweating because it's the radiator's warm in here. Deer Park, Texas. Good morning, Andrea Pinkney. Okay. So anyways, tell me what you did. I love it. I love it. I love it. No more cable news over here. Great time for you to be off cable news, Don. No, oh my gosh, guys. So when I was gone, I did this thing on, you saw it, quitting cable news cold turkey. are quitting news cold turkey. Some people, I cannot tell you. Back that up. Someone said their family had a big soul food dinner. Donna spent Thanksgiving home estate in waterproof Louisiana. Oh, wow. Your home state, waterproof Louisiana. Benjamin Bradley says that. But there was one big family dinner with lots of soul food, says Guinevere Crop. Great. That's great. Great, great, great. I haven't watched cable news since the election. Okay, so I did this thing that did really well. Everyone was like, because the reason I did it is because wherever I went on vacation, or people were calling and texting me saying, I just cannot watch news. I cannot watch news. I cannot watch the news. And I was like, okay. And I said, I have to do something on it. But Harold Boyd says, hey, Fox rocks. Harold likes watching Fox. Fox is one of the only, I think it's the only news place that is actually doing okay. Everybody else is down. I think Fox may be down, but not down by as much as everybody else. It may be up a little bit right after the election, but year over year, most people are not doing well. 1 month for me, Eric B says. Quit cable news the day after the election and haven't felt better. It's so weird. Do you guys think this is permanent? I have quit the major news also, but things still leaked in on my radio, says Andrea Parker. Okay, that's fine. You get it when you want. You can always just, turn it down. Thank you, Ingrid Lane. Why are people, do you think it's permanent? Because people, have been predicting the demise of news, broadcast news and cable news for quite some time. And now they said they're over it. They said that they're over it. Okay. Someone says, I only watch News Nation now. I don't know. I can't with that. Too many people that have turned into who knows. I can't. I'm not with you on that. So, wow. Shereen Moore says, I cancel cable news, just watch local once in a while. Okay. So we're going to get to that. But listen, I hope that you're at least tuned in for some of the things, right? So let's talk about this. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. Again, I'm so happy that you're here. This is our hot topic show where we talk to you about things that's going on in the world. Sometimes it's a light topic. Sometimes it's, we have to talk about things. We have a pair of scandals this morning to tell you about. One of them is most definitely a scandal, and that the other people don't agree on. So if you dialed out, you missed a lot over the holidays. On Saturday, the New York Times released his 2018 email. Did you guys see this from Pete Hegseth's mother? Donald Trump's picked to be the defense secretary. He's a former Fox News weekend morning anchor. She viciously criticized his treatment of women. Her name is Penelope Hegseth. Again, it's his mom. In an email, there are many women, she said, whom he has, quote, abused and encouraged him to get some help. That's according to an email published by the New York Times. A few hours later, the New Yorker published a piece detailing how the former Fox News host was forced to resign from 2 veterans organizations, advocacy groups, because of financial mismanagement, SA, and routine intoxication on the job. What is going on here? Who is Donald Trump nominating? Matt Gaetz stepped aside. People are concerned about Tulsi Gabbard. Now Pete Hegseth has all of these things. Multiple SA allegations with police reports, one of them, or report. And then we have Kash Patel, which we'll get to. Another problematic pick. And then late yesterday, this got a lot of people going. President Joe Biden announced that he pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who faced the sentencing this month for federal tax and gun convictions, making a reversal as he prepares to leave office. I'm just going to tell you guys. Let me read this. He promised not to pardon his son, but he said in a statement on Sunday, no reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. Okay, let's talk about that. I'm just going to tell you right off. I'm down for it. Hell yeah, pardon your son. I would not leave my son at the whims of a Donald Trump presidency or a Donald Trump Department of Justice. What's good, as I said in my social media, go check it out. Go check it out on the TikTok. I said, what is good for the Donald is good for the Hunter. Donald Trump got convicted of all these things, way more criminal counts than Hunter Biden, for things that people Don't get it twisted, because the MAGA folks like you to believe that people aren't usually charged for the things that Donald Trump is charged for. That is a bullshit. That's a lie. That's a lie. So I say, Joe Biden, finally. And Joe Biden, you should have done this. Your Justice Department should have done this before too long. It waited too long. Merrick Garland waited too long for the Donald Trump charges and prosecution, et cetera. Too long. Because they're dropping all this stuff now, but Donald Trump is guilty. Let's not get it twisted. Donald Trump is guilty. And plenty of the folks around him, wow, this tea is so good this morning. Plenty of the folks around him are guilty as well. And I had this epiphany. I don't know if it's epiphany, but just time to think over the holidays before we get into the Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, Hunter Biden pardon of it all. Why are sensible people, I'm not even talking about the MAGA, I'm not talking about the far left, I don't even know if I mean Democrats, but Democrats are included in this, and anyone who has a brain. Why are people backing down? Why are people acquiescing to the MAGA folks and say, oh, we got to do this, we have to do that, thinking that they can talk to people? I'm going to play a guy a little bit later who, that same way as I was like walking, doing, exercising and just sort of relaxing and clearing my mind. I'm like, why are people falling for this? And I still don't believe, I'm sorry, guys. I do not believe people actually voted for the price of eggs. Maybe they think they did. Maybe they were led to believe that. Maybe it's a cognitive dissonance that they have to don to come up with an excuse for what? For voting for someone who wants to be a dictator, for voting for a criminal, for voting for a criminal. I cannot believe that people voted for that because they wanted 50 cent cheaper gas, or they thought that somehow Joe Biden and they could control the gas. For those who did not realize, the reason that we're in this mess of wherever we are now is because of Donald Trump's mishandling of the economy and COVID. And the person who pulled us or is pulling us out of that is the man who is in office now, regardless of what you think. Oh, he's feeble, he's this, or whatever you think. His policies are working. And I don't think that anyone who voted for Kamala Harris or who voted for democracy or should be ashamed of that. Yeah, there are things that the Democrats, the messaging, they need to do better. But I just don't believe. I think you should hold your head up. If you voted for democracy, if you voted for Kamala Harris, if you voted against Trump, I think you should be proud of that. I don't think people should be made to feel bad about that. I think you should feel good that you voted for the right thing rather than the wrong thing, that you weren't co-opted, that you have a conscience, that you have some morals, that you have integrity. I think that you should be happy about that. Rather than allowing people to say, hey, we won, we won, we won. You won, but how did you win? You won because you ran on bullshit. You won because someone co-opted you into believing things that are just completely not true. That somehow Donald Trump is better for the economy. He's not. Wait till these tariffs. Wait till we get into the tariffs of it all and what Mexico is going to do and what China is going to do. You're going to take two of our biggest trade partners and you're going to put tariffs on their... Woo! I got a bridge to sell you. I got some sand to sell you in Iowa for the beach that is going to be on the ocean in Wisconsin. If you actually believe that that is going to be good. So let me just say, everyone is like, all the people who are like, oh my God, Joe Biden again, how can you, the Trump people, you doing the same thing? Fuck that. Pardon your son. Pardon your damn son and move on with your life. Because if you didn't, then I would be like, what the hell is wrong with Joe Biden? Why didn't he pardon his son? Now, do I believe that Hunter Biden did some shit that was bad? Of course I do. Do I think he should face the consequences? Yes. Do I believe what Joe Biden said in his letter that if it was not for Hunter Biden, that if he were not Hunter Biden, that he would not be charged? 100%. Is Hunter a fuck up? Yes. Or was he, I should say? Yeah, he was. But he has been sober for 5.5 years now. So I'm going to get into all of this because I'm sick of people saying, you lost, you lost, you lost, you lost. No, this isn't about you lost, you lost, you lost. It's not about that. I believe the country lost. Look, and as someone said, Florida Bullock says, people on here are jealous of our elimination. Get over it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let them be. And let the trolls come in. Again, I don't mind what your political stripes are. If you come here, just be respectful. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine. I'm fine. That's totally fine. And for the haters in here, for all the haters who are in here, let me just say, for all the haters in here who are like, well, what's Don Lemon doing or whatever? Just so you know, guys, 8 months we've been doing this. A little bit less, about 8 months. 300,000 subscribers almost. We're at 289. By the end of the year, I think we could be at 300,000. That is pretty good for any startup, right? Regardless. And the stuff that we do on socials and in whatever, millions. So you can come in here and hate, but we have a voice. The Lemon Nation has a voice and a presence. And we are doing quite well. So let's talk about this. And I want to explain what's going on first. Let's read Joe Biden's statement on Hunter Biden, and then we'll get into the Pete Hegseth and all that other shit. Okay. Yeah, and I've got like a filthy mouth right now because I do. So get over it. Get over it if you don't like it. Statement from Joe Biden. Can you guys please make that full screen so I can read it? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have it in my notes, but I'll read it here. Today, I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making. I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. Bring me back up, please. Okay, they're right. Joe Biden is 100% right. And you know who said the same thing about selective prosecution? Was Donald Trump. So that's why I said, what's good for the Donald is good for the Hunter. So if you're going to talk about selective prosecution and you're going to talk about lawfare, okay. That's why I said Joe Biden should use it too. And also this whole idea about a president having complete immunity. Well, maybe Joe Biden needs to do some shit before he leaves, because then he would just be immune. What if he jailed Donald Trump for, I don't know, January 6th? I'm just saying. What's good for the Donald is good for the Joe Biden as well. You should be tired of being like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm so down, I'm so whatever. You got to laugh at these people and move on, because I'm telling you, they effed around and they're going to find out. They don't care. They don't care. But that's okay. That is okay. When the economy is messed up, when they're paying more for goods, they don't even care if their family members are going to get deported. They don't care. But okay, you know what you do, guys? Here's what you do. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Oh, that's too bad. You guys want to go see Wicked tonight? Thank you, Charmin, Agarin, Morris. Again, just so you guys know, I'm not a Democrat, but Democrats need to get aggressive, because Democrats, as I have been saying for years now, are the only thing that's holding us, that's keeping the democracy together. They're the only party, and they need to get stronger. They need to be more aggressive. Thank you for that. So, hey, you guys want to come by for dinner tonight? When someone says, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. What happened with the gas prices?" Oh, you know what? I don't drive. I take the subway. Y'all want to have dinner tonight? That's my attitude. And I wouldn't help them do nothing. 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 You bought it, you break it, you bought it. You break it, you bought it. You break it, you bought it. That's what I would do. So stop being like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And stop letting people bully you. Just say, "Oh my God." This is what I was saying when people were, because there were people, where I was, there were some MAGA folks, and they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Sorry." I'm like, "I'm not unhappy." I said, "I'm happy." They're like, "Happy? Why? How are you happy?" I said, "Because I voted for democracy. I voted for America. I voted as a patriot. I voted for you." "What do you mean you voted for me? I support Donald Trump." "I voted for you to have a better life as an American. I voted for you because you could not see what's coming down the pike. I voted for you because I actually care about other people. I care about more people than myself. That's why I voted for you. I voted for you because I knew that there would be people voting against their own interests like you. And I just wanted to make sure that your vote was canceled out. There weren't enough people like me. I'm sorry. But, I'm happy. I'm on vacation in a great place. My family is doing okay. I actually don't mind paying higher taxes because I can. I do that for you because I'm not a selfish human being. I am a patriot. I am a real American. And they were just like, but. I'm like, yeah. But what about Joe? He doesn't know where he is. I said, yeah, he knows enough about where he is. That inflation that Donald Trump created is actually coming down because of his policies. He knows that much. He knows enough that he believes that women should have a right to do with their bodies what they want, and their doctors want. So I am so happy that I voted to continue on in that vein with Kamala Harris. I'm not a Democrat. I didn't vote for a Democrat because I'm a Democrat. I voted for a Democrat because that's the person who is going to look out for me and you and this country best. If that had been a Republican, I might have thought about voting for a Republican. So Democrats, Lemonheads, for all of you who are in here and you've all been all sad and down and you're like, "Oh my, don't worry. Be happy." You know how they say karma is a bitch? It is you watch every single time. It may not come when you want it, but it's always right on time, or it always surprises you. I've been in situations, even the situation that I was in at my last place, where you just sit back and you just go, "Oh, that's what you wanted. That's what you chose. And now look what happened." It always 100% happens. 100% happens. Sometimes it's instant, but sometimes you're like, "When is the karma? When is it going to happen?" And then boom, all of a sudden you're like, "Wow, ain't that some shit?" Watch. Mark my words. Back to the Biden pardon. The charges in this case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom, with a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's case. So they tried a plea deal. That did not happen. If you guys can move it up a little bit. No reasonable person who looks at the facts in Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter's was singled out only because he was my son. And that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they have tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to the miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. I agree with you 100%. And then he was like, by the powers vested in me, I pardon my son, Robert Hunter Biden. And you know what? Good for him and good for Robert Hunter Biden and good for America. What's good for the Donald is good for the Hunter. That's how I feel about that. And let me tell you what I said. Even though Joe Biden wrote this, let me tell you something. This wasn't political. All you people out there, politics, how does it make it look? That doesn't mean anything. Let me tell you a story. My mom lost her daughter, my sister, in an unfortunate accident in 2018. If you're a parent and you have ever lost a child, then you already know where I'm going. I don't even have to go any further. Or even if you have a child. My mom has not been the same. She's, still a viable person, but she has not been the same. And I believe, and she's probably listening to this, that she blames herself, and I don't know why, because she had nothing to do with it. And it doesn't matter how old you get, you are always, always, always the mother or the parent. And the child is always a child, no matter how old that child is. It's always your child, and you still see them as a little kid. Okay? So this wasn't really about politics. If Hunter Biden had relapsed and something happened because of this, Joe Biden would never forgive himself. If Hunter Biden had gone to jail or whatever, and had been left to the whims of Donald Trump and his Justice Department, he would never have forgiven himself. He has already lost 2 children. He lost a child when he was when he was an adult, and the child was a young child, in a car accident. That Hunter was in the car, and Hunter's mom died in that same car accident as they were backing out of the driveway. And then he lost his son, Beau. Joe Biden was not about to lose another child, especially to Donald Trump. It just wasn't going to happen. And I don't blame him. And you know what? You would have done the same thing too. As a parent, you would have done the same thing too. Don't get it twisted, and you know you would have. So don't tell me, do not go like, it's just so wrong. Man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. This is not about politics. And you know what Donald Trump would have done? He would have done the same thing. Look at what he allowed his kids to do when he was in office. They broke the law, or came very close to it. I mean, they definitely broke norms. Maybe they should have been in jail. But you don't think he would have pardoned Ivanka? You don't think he would have pardoned Don Jr., his namesake, or Eric? Tiffany, he might. Oh, boy, I really don't give it. I have 0 F's to give anymore. So, Joe Biden, you know what? Good on you, brother. More of that. Can you give us some more of that shit before you leave office? More. You need to, and also there are a lot of people you need to pardon. There are a lot of people who are in jail now and should be out. There are a lot of people who went to jail for marijuana offenses, all kinds of crazy stuff. Commute them, their sentences, or pardon them. Commutation is good. Clemency is good as well. So do your thing. Do your thing, Joe Biden. Donald Trump and the MAGA folks have opened the floodgates, so just let it flow through. Just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow through. As Usher says, let it burn, let it burn, let it do it. Let it do what it do. Pete Hegseth's mom. Now, son, I tried to keep quiet about your character, and behavior. But after listening to the way that you made Samantha feel, that was his wife, ex-wife, today, I cannot stay silent. As a woman and your mother, I feel I must speak out. You are an abuser of women. That is the ugly truth, and I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are that man, and you have been for years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is But it is the sad, sad truth. I am not a saint, far from it. So don't throw that in my face. But your abuse over the years to women, dishonesty, sleeping around, betrayal, debasing, belittling, needs to be called out. This is his mama. This is his mama. As we say in the South, his mom. This is mama. Your mom, your mammy is saying this shit. That's serious. Hold that thought. Sam, who was his ex-wife, I guess his wife at the time, is a good mother and a good person under the circumstances that you created. And I know deep down you know that. For you to try to label her as unstable for your own advantage is despicable and abusive. Is there any sense of decency left in you? She did not ask for or deserve any of what has come to her by your hand. Neither did Meredith, his other wife. And he's only in his 40s. I know you think this is one big competition that we have taken her side. Bunk. We are on the side of good, and that is not you. Go ahead and call me self-righteous. I don't care. Don't you dare run to her and cry foul that we shared with us. That we shared with us. That's what babies do. It's time for someone, I wish I was a strong man, to stand up to your abusive behavior and call it out, especially against women. We still love you, but are broken by your behavior and lack of character. I don't want to write emails like this and never thought I would. If it damages our relationship further, then so be it. But at least I have said my piece. Then that was something is redacted. And yes, we are praying for you, and you don't deserve to know how we are praying. So skip the snarky reply. I don't want to answer to this. I don't want to debate with you. You twist and abuse everything I say anyway. But on behalf of all women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way. I say, get some help and take an honest look at yourself, Mom. Now, let me tell y'all something. My mama would never write me a letter like that. But she wouldn't have to. But for anybody's mama to write them a letter like that, come on, let's be honest. Tell me the truth. Do you think, would your mama ever write a letter like that to you? Would your mama ever write a letter? I mean, mama is not, damn, Cheryl Reed says, mama is not playing. Now, then mom said, I regretted writing the letter and I took it back and now I stand behind my son or whatever. Okay, mama. So she said she took it back. Mama came with the fire. For someone's mom to sit down and write an email like that, for someone's mother, think about your mom. Think about the relationship you have with your mother. Think about it. Maybe you have a good relationship. Maybe you have a tumultuous relationship. I don't know. But for my mom, and I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter once to a family member, and man, I labored over it. Like I had to write this letter, and I was like, I know this is going to piss everybody off, and so I wrote the letter, and it was hurtful, but I had to do what I had to do. For your mom to write a letter like that, it means you did some bad shit. Especially a mama to her son. I'm going to generalize here, and you guys know. My mom and my sister have a different relationship than my mom and me. My mom and my sister, oh my gosh, they bicker all day long. I mean, basically my mom is living with my sister now, but and I'm glad that they some companionship. They go back and forth between houses and they live, whatever. It's great. I'm glad that they're together. That was Pete Hegseth's mom. Someone says, whose mom was that? Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, the person that Donald Trump wants to be the defense secretary, the former Fox News weekend anchor. That is whose mom wrote that. Moms and sons have a very special relationship, right? Like my mom and my sisters or whatever, they always bicker. There was always they were just things. Why? Why are you always correcting me? This is what they do when I'm on the phone. Could you just shut up? I'm trying to talk. She thinks she knows everything, and they just go back and forth. And then, then the next thing you know, they're cooking and they're calling me and they're like, we're cooking. What are you cooking? It's fine. That's just the relationship that they have. Right. So I don't try to understand it because they're women and they do things. I'm not a woman. I don't understand. Don't think I'm like being, sexist or anything. They have a different relationship. My mom and I have totally different relationship. Most moms, black moms, I know for sure, Jewish moms for show, as they say. And I imagine moms of all ethnicities, white moms, dote on their sons, just dote on their sons. I can go home. My mom is 80 some years old. If I can go home, I sleep in my childhood bedroom. In my childhood bed. My mom makes breakfast. She's in her 80s. She makes breakfast for me. My mom fixes my plates. You know why? I say, Mom, it doesn't taste good. Well, I don't say that when I go home because it's Louisiana. I say, Mom, it don't taste good unless you make the plate. Mom, it don't taste good unless you do it. Mom, can you iron that for? And it's my mom and son, and I know what I'm doing, and I know she loves it. But when it comes time to take care of her, come on, you guys know, it's all good, right? The first class seats, whatever. It's like she's good. She gets a car to and from the airport with a chauffeur, all that shit. It's fine. But that's the kind of relationship that moms have with their sons. And for that mama to write that, what does it mean? That means that boy did some bad shit. That means that boy mistreated that woman. That means that it hurt her heart as a woman to see a man treat a woman like that, who is not even her own child, her own blood. Her own blood was treating a woman so poorly that she felt she had to sit down and write that email. So if your mama writes some shit like that and says something like that, that means you did some bad shit. And of course, she's going to go, I'm sorry, whatever. She realizes her son, whatever, she knows. She knows. And every mama who's in the Senate, Republican or Democrat, or daddy, who's going to be voting on his appointment or approval, needs to sit down and think about that. If you are a man and you see a letter like that written by a mama to a son, you know some shit is wrong. There's also, there's a headline from Pete Hegseth too about the whole veterans thing that the New Yorker wrote about, that he had issues as it relates to a veterans organization with behavior as well, that he had some issues. I don't know if Pete Hegseth is really going to make it. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. He might. Because when I was on vacation, there were people who were there, and there were some Trump supporters there, and they said, not with our particular group, but that happened to be like at some of the places we're going at, restaurants, and they would come over and they're like, hey, Don Lemon. I'd say hi, and they'd talk to me, and I'm like, hi, we talked to them. There were some guys, all big Trump supporters, they loved Elon, they loved Donald Trump, they loved whatever. And they would talk to me, they're like, hey, I really miss you on CNN because I didn't like anything you said, but I liked watching you. I thought you were good. They want me to have dinner with them and their wives. They're invited Tim and I to have dinner with it. I mean, it's so weird. It's so weird when I go places. These people, can I get a picture? MAGA folks, dudes, bros. Hey, it is what it is. So, man, I have an 11 o'clock meeting, but you know what? I'm going to keep going. They're going to have to wait. Okay, so listen. Just listen to this. Let's get back to the Hunter Biden of it all. And then I just wanted to get that Hegseth thing in there to get it out of the way. I want to get back to the Hunter Biden of it all and then the Kash Patel, okay? So this is Jill Wine-Banks, who I love, explaining on MSNBC. She's a Watergate prosecutor. She's talking about this Biden pardon. And it resonates with me. But there's also, I think what Keith Boykin says resonates more. First, Jill Wine-Banks, and then we'll do Keith Boykin.
Hey, Jill, let me start with you. Your initial reactions or your reaction to President Biden pardoning his son.
I am relieved and thrilled that he did it. I think this was one of those cases that called out for clemency. Hunter Biden, first of all, would not have ever been prosecuted for the gun crime, but for his last name. Second of all, he was addicted, and that was a cause of his actions. He has now been sober for many years.
Pause.
And
thank you. True. Have you dealt with addiction in your family? And don't get all holier than thou, like, I've never done with addiction or whatever. Don't give me that bullshit. Most people have dealt with the deal. And if you haven't, then you're sweeping it under the rug, whether it's alcohol, drugs, food. Food. If you are overweight, you got a few extra pounds on you, you have a food addiction. Or you don't know how to eat. Have you ever been to a nutritionist? Or if you have been fortunate enough to be in the presence of people, I have in my lifetime, who have chefs. The portions that a nutritionist will give you or a chef will give you is not the portion that your mama puts on the plate, that most people end up carrying that over their entire lives. And that's how they gain weight. That is a food addiction. So the fact that Hunter had a drug addiction, I don't think it's anything that should be stigmatized any more than a food addiction should be stigmatized, than an alcohol addiction can be stigmatized or should be stigmatized, than a mental health issue should be stigmatized. So mental health, that's a whole different thing. But an addiction is an addiction is an addiction. A cigarette addiction is no different than a drug addiction, is no different than an alcohol addiction. Addiction is no different than any, they're all the same. It's all the same. It works in the mind the same way. So stop stigmatizing people and stop thinking like, Uncle Jimmy just drinks too much after he gets off work. He's an addict. He's an alcoholic. Oh, such and such needs her nerve pills, just whatever. This is a drug addict. Oh, I just eat a little bit too much at dinner. You're a food addict. You have an eating addiction or a disorder. I'm just telling you. I'm big bone. Nope. 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 Now, there are people do have things like with their body and they have medical issues, thyroids and all those things. I'm generalizing here. For the most part, when you see someone, and I'm not shaming people, I'm giving you a truth bomb. If you are fat, I'm just going to say fat because people can't say that anymore, but I can say it. I'm an independent media. If you are fat, don't be judging someone who has an alcohol issue because you have an issue too. Don't be judging someone who smokes cigarettes and you don't like it and they're addicted to cigarettes because you have an issue too. So all of us, including me, who have issues, whether it be food, alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, sex addictions people have, it's all the same thing. It's all this. So he has been sober for 5.5 years. And when Jill Wine-Banks says that people who are addicts or who have an addiction do things, they're out of their mind, and they don't always act in their own best interest. And it's the same thing with you. When you're sitting there eating too much, you're not acting in your own best interest. When you're sitting there smoking too many cigarettes, you're not acting in your own best interest. When you're sitting there having too many drinks, you're not acting in your own best interest. And so I'm trying to level the playing field to get people to understand, stop stigmatizing addiction. Hunter Biden had an addiction. Did he do something wrong? Yes, but we should have some degree of empathy for people who have addictions and realize they're not always acting in their own best interest. Okay, let's go.
This is a time when it is really appropriate for a grant of clemency.
She's right. That's when it's appropriate for a grant of clemency or a pardon. And I agree with her 100%. Keith Boykin, man, you are channeling me and reading my mind, because I have been thinking about this so much as I've been going away about, you guys are going to hate this. Not you, no, you're not going to hate it. The MAGA folks are going to hate this. Some of the conservatives are going to hate this. The Don Lemon haters are going to hate this. Everyone's trying to explain to people what white privilege is, right? Donald Trump is a whole white privilege wrapped up in a big, ugly blue suit with a big, fat, funky red tie that goes to, he is a whole, if you open the dictionary to white privilege, Donald Trump's picture is in there. It should be in there because that's what he is. And there are many, that's what people don't understand what it is. And sometimes you have to give people an example for them to understand, and still they won't. But those of you who get it will get it. So all these people complaining about, Joe Biden shouldn't have pardoned Hunter, whatever. Roll the tape. Here's Keith Boykin.
President Biden has pardoned his son Hunter Biden, and you know what? I would have done the same thing. If Donald Trump can be elected president as a convicted felon, I'd be damned if I let my own son go to prison for the sake of a principle that only one side believes in. When I went to law school, they used to say that no one is above the law. Clearly, that's a damn lie with white privilege in America. White privilege is Donald Trump having 34 felony convictions and still winning the majority of the white vote for president. White privilege is Matt Gaetz being nominated for attorney general while facing child sex trafficking allegations. White privilege is unqualified Fox News host Pete Hegseth being nominated as defense secretary while facing sexual assault allegations. White privilege is slumlord Charles Kushner committing a federal crime, watching his son get a White House job with no security clearance, watching him leave the White House with $2 billion from the Saudis, being pardoned by your son's father-in-law, and then this week being nominated to serve as U.S. ambassador to France. White privilege is storming the U.S. Capitol in a deadly insurrection and being called a hero and a hostage by the incoming president of the United States. The Republican Party spent the past 50 years building a brand as the law and order party and threw it all away when it nominated and elected a twice-impeached convicted felon as president. Any MAGA cult member who defends the Trump crime family and their associates has no credibility to complain about Hunter Biden now or forever.
Keith Boykin said it all. Keith Boykin said the truth, whether you like it or not, MAGA people, whether you like it or not, white people who don't understand what white privilege is. Do you think that Barack Obama would have been anywhere near a White House? Anywhere near a White House if he had done one of the things that Donald Trump did? Come on now. Patricia McGowan says white privilege was a key determining factor in the election. That's what it is. Oh, no, Patricia. No, it was the price of eggs. Give me a break. The price of no damn eggs. Patricia, you're right. And let's stop messing around. Let's stop messing around with it. Yeah, are people hurting? Yes. But is it their fault that they don't really know the truth? Somewhat. I hate to blame the media because I was in the media, but it's media's fault. It's also Democrats' fault too for not having better messaging. But also it's your fault. Donald Trump knows that he can co-opt you, and he does it. Constance Ramirez says, white privilege is a nice way of saying Jim Crow. Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know who is complaining, has the nerve. Okay, first of all, do you guys know who Dinesh D'Souza is? If you know Dinesh, anyone, Bueller? Do you guys know who Dinesh D'Souza is? He did that, what was that documentary he did on January 6th? What did he say it was? He's like, I forget what he called it. He did this thing on January 6th, basically saying that it was a vacation. and that it was Antifa and just all kinds of bullshit. Like, and then everybody buys it. That's what white privilege, when you have the luxury to be able to buy into these things that are lies. Okay. All right. So Dinesh D'Souza, who was pardoned by Donald Trump for committing a serious criminal crime, who was pardoned, is complaining about Hunter Biden being pardoned. I believe this is this Tim Miller? I don't know. This is someone's TikTok talking about Dinesh D'Souza. Here it is.
You cannot be fucking serious right now.
Oh,
Dinesh D'Souza just tweeted, "No one is above the law except my son Hunter." This guy. Why is that insane, you ask? Because D'Souza was pardoned by Trump. Literally received a presidential pardon for crimes that he did on behalf of Donald Trump. This guy got a fucking... He's literally tweeting about being above the law. This is psychotic in a way that I have a hard time even describing. This is like winning the lottery and then complaining that lotteries exist. This is expert level gaslighting. This makes me feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills. Just to remind you, the crime that Dinesh D'Souza was found guilty of was campaign finance fraud, which was the same flavor of crime Donald Trump was found guilty 34 times of in New York when he paid Stormy Daniels with campaign money to be quiet. Huh. Interesting. Send the meteor to my house.
It's true. And so that's why I've been saying, I don't know why you guys, yes, am I disappointed in my, that's Sam Goodtrouble. I like Sam Goodtrouble. Thank you, SM. That's why I say, don't be sad. Don't be sad. You have to just laugh at these people, because even with all of that, the majority, it's not even the majority of the people in this country. It's a plurality of the electorate that chose to vote for Donald Trump. And by the way, guys, have you guys ever been paying attention to this whole popular vote thing? He's won the popular vote by a smaller margin than just that. So, all is not lost. It's going to be a rocky couple of 4 years, but let's have a sense of humor about it. Let's be, as we say, just let him, just, I don't even have to say, hey, are you sad that no, I'm not sad. Actually, I'm happy because, if all the things are going to be as wonderful as you say because you voted for him and it's going to be great, then I am going to be the beneficiary of that too. But if it's not, then you will be the beneficiary of that as well. So we're all in this together. Get the fuck out of here. I have 0 F's to give anymore. I don't have time for the MAGA people and their cognitive dissonance and their trolling or whatever. It's just like, you go ahead and troll. I got mine. You get yours. Okay. So I like that guy, and he's right. Jasmine Crockett. I don't know where. Jasmine, where were you? Jasmine was either on a plane, a train, an automobile. I don't know where she was. Jasmine was on the MSNBC. I don't know if she was in the coach, in the business class, or whatever. But she did her appearance, and I love it. And she is talking about the Biden pardon as well. Here she is.
Say, way to go, Joe. Let me be the first one to congratulate the president for deciding to do this, because at the end of the day, we know that we have a 34-count convicted felon that is about to walk into the White House. So for anyone that wants to clutch their pearls now because he decided that he was going to pardon his son, I would say take a look in the mirror, because we also know that when it comes to this cabinet has more people accused of sexual assault than any incoming cabinet probably ever in the history of America. So we are living in unprecedented times, and we know that this was completely political. As someone who serves on the oversight committee, this was gamesmanship the entire time. And we know that this investigation had been taking place for 5 or 6 years. We know that Hunter had accepted responsibility, and it was the oversight committee that was pushing to try to say, no, it wasn't enough. And ultimately, the judge decided to reject the plea. And so considering everything that took place and considering where we are in this country, I say, way to go.
Didn't I say the same thing? I said that last night when I just heard, if you guys can find my TikTok if you can, or Instagram or what is it, or Blue Sky or whatever. Just fine, because I want to show you. I did. There were 2 of them that I did. If you can find them, let me know if you find them, producers, Nikki or Peter. But please let me know. Yeah, that's what I say. Joe, this is a Joe I like. This is a Joe with the sunglasses. What do we call him? Dark Brandon. That's the one that I like. Let's see. Do we have it? If you have my TikTok, run it if you can, or whatever. I have 2 of them. Whenever it pops up. But this is what I think that he should be doing all along. Robert Lewis says, "What kind of weed do you smoke?" I only use cannabis sativa. I don't, Robert. I'm sorry. I can't anymore. I'm too old for that. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think people should be getting out of prison who may be in prison for things like that. Again, if you do you. I'm not saying that I've never partaken, but I can't do that anymore. It's hard to be positive. The threat of them dismantling the DOE is disturbing. I had a child on an IEP. What do we as parents do? I can't answer. Look, I'm generalizing a little bit, trust, love, and you're right. I think that you should be concerned and you need to take care of and make sure your child has what your child needs, but you cannot be down in the dumps and sad and crying all the time. You can't do it. It's just too much. Hang on. My meeting that I'm supposed to be in right now is trying to reschedule. Okay. So play the first one with the green screen behind me where I'm talking about what is about to happen. I've been wondering when this would happen. I've been asking about it on my show. President Biden is set to issue a pardon of his son, Hunter Biden. And you know what? I think that he should. What's good for the Donald is good for the Hunter. What do you think? I'm consistent. I am consistent. That's what I said last night. Without I called my mom. My mom and I were talking. My mom sent it to me, and because I was unpacking and it came over at the text. And I said, and I called her. I said, "Mom, what do you think?" She goes, "Damn right, that's his son. I'd do that for my child." And you're right, Mama. You are right, 100%. And so I didn't get producers, what should I do? You think? I was just like, well, it's so upsetting because then how are you going to talk to Republicans and MAGA people and tell them that what Donald Trump is doing is wrong? And they're, shut up! Shut up. Those people don't care. You can't talk to them. You cannot talk to them. You cannot reason with them. And guess what? They don't care. Donald Trump could pardon anybody, and they'd be like, well, he should have done it. Hey, it could be anybody. I could come up with some crazy names, but I won't, because then people would be like, oh my gosh, you can't believe you're comparing him to this. He could pardon anybody, and they wouldn't care. They'd make an excuse for it. So why the hell can't Joe Biden do it? Give me a break. So this was what I told you guys. This is what it's about. This is really what it's about. Play the second one, please. Okay, look, for everybody who's getting I was walking my dog, by the way, about Joe Biden pardoning Hunter Biden, don't be so holier than thou. This is not really about politics, okay? This is about being a parent. And anyone who's been in a family with a parent who's ever lost a child, then you know why Joe Biden is doing this. He's lost 2 kids already. If Hunter Biden went to jail or something happened to him, or if he relapsed, whatever, Joe Biden would never forgive himself. Of course he's going to pardon his kid. It's not about politics. Come on. Where's the lie? That's the truth. This is not about politics. It's really about being a parent. And you know what? Who gives a shit about the politics? Let's talk about Kash Patel. Let me just play this. So the Kash Patel of it all. I wanted the background on Kash Patel because Kash Patel was also accused of some things. He was part of the Ukraine thing. There was also some other things that had to do with documents at Mar-a-Lago and classified documents and allegedly, reportedly, for him. And so we're going to talk about it. But let me just put this up. This is Kash Patel, who is. I'm going to let Tim Miller explain to you who Kash Patel is. Here it is.
Hey guys, I have breaking news. Donald Trump is planning to put up Kash Patel to lead the FBI. This is a really troubling choice. There has been a tradition inside the FBI of independence post-Watergate. There are a lot of reforms after Watergate, after the Hoover era, where the FBI was acting as, kind of a special armed forces, a special operations branch for the president. And instead, kind of replacing it as an independent organization that focused on counterterrorism and focused on law enforcement. And so this will be the second time that Donald Trump has kind of broken those new norms. FBI directors are usually have been appointed to 10-year terms, and then they get replaced regardless of what party the next president is from. Donald Trump in his first term fired Jim Comey to much uproar, replacing him with.
So do you guys remember this? Now listen, in order to even go back, this is unprecedented, except for during the J. Edgar Hoover period. And if you guys know, that was really, really bad. J. Edgar Hoover was bad. The stuff that he did, he was appointed by Calvin Coolidge, but the stuff that he did to Americans as it relates to, you remember the whole communist thing and all? Hoover was a bad dude. And then Hoover was allegedly, I don't think he's allegedly, like a gay man, and he would go after gay people. He was like a closeted gay man. Anyways, you had to go back that far to find something this bad that happened. And then fast forward to 2016, and he fired Comey. And then because Comey, I guess, did not put Hillary Clinton in jail or whatever, even though Donald Trump ended up winning. And then he hired Christopher Wray, who is pretty much a company man. It wasn't a bad choice, but what Donald Trump did was a break of the norm. And we tend to forget these things. We romanticize the past, so you just forget them. So that's how we ended up with Christopher Wray, who so far, I don't think he's been a bad person. By the way, Christopher Wray was the one who backed me up when I said that the biggest terror threat to the United States was white men radicalized to the right. And everyone's like, you're a racist. Yeah, I don't hear you. What if someone said that about black men? Well, they're not. I have 0 F's to give. Roll the tape, please.
Comey to much uproar, replacing him with Christopher Wray, despite the fact that that was totally, without modern precedent, and that there was outrage at the choice of Donald Trump to do that for his own political ends. Wray, as a replacement, was at least like a respectable person, an institutionalist, people that the agents, could respect and trust to lead, the bureau. That is not what has happened this time. Now he's fired Christopher Wray, the person he picked, and he's replacing him with a clown in Kash Patel. And he's replacing him with somebody that is not qualified for this job, that has not been an agent, that has not, gained the respect and trust of colleagues, that has not demonstrated that they can be in a leadership role managing other law enforcement officials. And he was a attorney for Devin Nunes on the Hill. He did do some counterterrorism operations for.
Do you guys remember Devin Nunes, who there was all this information that they had to do when they had you remember the shield, the thing that they would show classified information up on the Hill. And also they were briefed on it, this classified information when they were investigating the whole Ukraine call and the impeachment of Donald Trump, et cetera. And then he went back and revealed all of that information that he had seen when they were, what did they call it? The shield? I forget what they called it. But anyways, there's like a cone of silence. And there's a thing, if you want to see classified information, you have to go there so that no one can see it, right? And so Devin Nunes did, and then went back and revealed everything to Donald Trump. Basically a lackey, You guys remember Devin Nunes? Yeah. So that's who that is. And he represented him back then. At least Kash Patel did. Represented Devin Nunes. Okay, here it is. Keep going.
He did do some counterterrorism operations for Trump in the first administration, so there is some experience there. But as far as management experience, trust, independence, and this is a person that does podcast hits on Steve Bannon's podcast wearing a MAGA hat. He has his own cryptocurrency, K money sign H. This is a person that is not qualified for this job in any way, shape, or form. Bill Barr said that Patel would be deputy FBI director over his dead body. Bill Barr says, furthermore, Patel had virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency. The very idea of moving Patel into a role like this showed a shocking detachment from reality. That's Bill Barr. Mm-hmm. I don't know what more needs to be said. Like what more I could say that is worse than that.
Yeah, nothing, Tim. Thank you. Tim, you don't have to say anything. And by the way, Norman Sowers, thank you for Skiff. That's what it is. And Stella Baxter, Skiff. Thank you. And whoever else wrote Skiff. That's what it is. Kash Patel is not qualified. Pete Hegseth is not qualified. But he served our country. Okay, yes, I get it. He served the country. My sister served the country. My dad served the country. My stepdad served the country. My aunt served the country. Like, not my aunt. My aunt didn't serve the country. My uncle served the country. Like, people serve the country. All kinds of people serve the country with honor. I love them. I appreciate their sacrifice to the country. That don't mean they should be the defense secretary, that they're even qualified. And Pete Hegseth is not qualified. And I believe in innocent until proven guilty. Don't get it twisted. But usually when that happens, like there's usually like one or two things. And then it's like, okay, maybe that was a, cash grab. Maybe that was an opportunist. Maybe that was a one-off or two. Okay. But then when the hits keep coming and then your mama writes a letter like that, and then how many kids, by how many babies? I mean, y'all talk about black men and babies, mamas. These Trump folks are on a whole different level. Look how many babies, mamas Donald Trump has. And Pete Hegseth. And there are others. I have 0 Fs left to give. You're right. MAG America says Sharon White Boy's gone wild. It's true. It's 100% true. And what was I going to say that he said? Oh, just about being qualified. None of them are qualified. They're not qualified. They are not qualified, but yet and still. And here's the scary part. Kash Patel they always love talking about law and order and people being treated fairly and, how folks are out to get them and the lawfare of it all. And they're the ones who are always attacking the institutions. Now, this guy wants to be head of the FBI, and this is what he wants to do to journalists. Here it is.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media.
Here at the beginning. Thank you.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators.
Okay. So that's him on TV. It's not even the quiet part out loud. He's just saying it. Who hurt you, Kash Patel? Maybe he feels like liberals or the media hurt him because he feels that he was unfairly targeted by the government or something during the whole Kash Patel investigation of it all. August DeWinter says Kash Patel should be in jail. Interesting. Estella W. Why are they always putting the lone black person in HUD? Estella, I always say that HUD is the black job or the brown job, but it's the black job. I knew. I was like, okay, they're going to find some brother. They're going to make him the head of HUD. And that's what they did. Missy Bird says, that's why Morning Joe ran off to kiss the ring. You know what? Maybe so. But if they start jailing journalists, I would think that America would be like, okay, you stop. And wouldn't that sort of be a badge of honor? Wouldn't that be a badge of honor? And by the way, it's already starting. You know that Trump is suing some journalists. He's suing George Stephanopoulos for his report on, this is all public, his report on, was it Nancy Mace or someone he had on? And he said that Donald Trump was a grapist, if you know what I'm talking about. And so Donald Trump is suing him, but the judge said the same thing. The judge in the case for E. Jean Carroll said that it was akin to grape. Yeah. So I would think, though, I don't know if I buy that that whole thing, because if they start jailing journalists, I think that would be the end of MAGA. I really do. I really do. I don't think people would stand for it. Okay, listen, this was a little bit long, guys, and then I'm going to let you go. But I want you to watch this. Please, everyone, stick around for this because I think it's really important. Because this is Don says, "Shut up, Jackie." Jackie Fialakowski. Yeah. Oh, well, Allison Williams says, "Don't be so sure, Don." I understand. Don't be so. Yeah. Trump sued Lawrence O'Donnell, says Miss B. Yeah, Trump has sued a lot of people. And I believe, let's just say allegedly, Trump was behind a lot of lawsuits that you didn't know that they were behind. You know what I mean? Okay. So listen, I don't discount it, because yes, that could happen. Okay. So let's see. This is a long one, but this is the same energy that I came back from vacation with. This is what I was thinking while I was on vacation. There's some parts in here I don't necessarily agree with him wholeheartedly, but I get his sentiment. He sued Bill Maher. Yes, I remember that. I forget what happened with that. I think he sued him for like $10 million for saying like his dad was an ape or something, or an orangutan because he was orange, remember? Yeah. And then Bill Maher was like, it is called comedy. Okay, so listen, so if you're watching and you've been down and out and oh my God, you're upset about the election, please watch this, because you need to start fighting back. Okay, ready? Let's go.
Just out on a walk when I saw this. It's funny because in 2016, after Donald Trump got elected, I did a lot of hand-wringing, trying to figure out, like, oh man, what do we do? How do we talk to these people? How do we win people over? And I had an underlying faith in the American electorate that after 2024, I just don't have anymore. This is not a country of critical.
Okay. I shouldn't say you can't talk to them, because I talk to them, and I honestly want to know from MAGA folks like what they think. I really do. But I find the more I talk to them, that there's very little reasoning with them. They make excuses for everything that Donald Trump does. And every person who's in his orbit, they make excuses for him. Like they will talk about, like, these guys have so many babies and whatever. And they don't realize, like, look at the people around him. How many kids does, what's his name, have? The Rocket Man? You know what I'm talking about. How many kids does Rocket Man have? Kids? How many kids does Donald Trump have? Oh, so Jujuby 711. How many kids does Pete Hegseth have? But they make excuses for everything. And again, they make excuses of it was the price of eggs. I'm telling you, it was not the price of eggs. Immigration. Okay, keep going.
Anymore. This is not a country of critical thinkers. This is not a country that analyzes the evidence. This is not a country of reasonable people. It's just not. And it's not necessarily that I believe the people who say things like, look, if you voted for a fascist based off of the price of eggs, like, you're an evil person. I'm not sure that that's true. I think it's actually worse than that.
Yeah.
I think that you're a useful idiot.
Hi.
I think you're probably...
Bingo! And I wouldn't call people a useful idiot. I would call the folks who are out there like the Tim Scotts of it all, the Byron Donalds of it all, the even the I don't know, Tulsi Gabbard is a whole another show. The people who continue to make excuses for him and know better, like they're maybe they don't know better. Okay, I would call those people useful idiots. Of the American people, I would just call them co-opted by a cult figure and someone who, because you can't say it, like you want to say it, like you want to be this kind of thing, you want to say it, you want to, and then you can't because you don't think you have the agency to say it or to behave this way. And then along comes Donald Trump and he says it and you're like, yes, finally someone is saying it. And you feel like, okay, it gives you, it's called an imprimatur, right? He's in an imprimatur for your innermost, like worse sort of thoughts or actions or just parts of your being that you would like to bring to the fore, but you can't. But then he does it and you're like, oh, finally someone can do it. And so that gives you permission to do it. So is your imprimatur for like being a bad faith actor, for acting on the worst parts of your personality, for allowing, because something didn't go your way, because you didn't get the job that you wanted, because your job or your skills are outdated and things have passed you by, that you get to blame someone else other than yourself because it's somebody else's fault. Or you get to have a hyper focus on something that does not affect you. You don't even live near the border. You have no relationship to immigrants. But because you're not at the station or where you believe that you should be in life, or you see someone else who's doing better than you and you go, that should be me. Why is that immigrant doing better than me? Why is that black guy doing better than me? Why is that Latino guy? Whatever it is. Why is that woman? So you got to blame something. Bro, it's because of DEI. These women are getting all the jobs. It's because of the Democrats and the liberals that these, they don't know the man's place is the head of the household. They're giving these immigrants vouchers. They're doing this. And they get you to believe that fear. You're co-opted. So I don't know if I call you a useful idiot. I would just call you a victim of circumstances that of your own creation and of the creation of the Orange Menace. Keep going, please.
Useful idiot. I think you're probably as bad as anybody who in the 1930s were saying things like, well, look what Germany's done. Adolf Hitler's taken, all of the German people out of this horrible depression that they were in. He's gotten manufacturing back together. I think this guy's a great leader. And I think the mistake that I've made, and I think a lot of other people on the left have made, is thinking that we can talk our way out of this problem, because I don't think there's any way that that's going to happen. Like the culture of the left, the culture of the Democratic Party and leftists in general over the last few decades has basically been this kind of collegiate, I'm intelligent, let me tell you how it is, I can see through the matrix, I've done all the reading. And the thing that all of these conservatives and people who support Trump, the MAGAs on the right, what they talk about is like, have you done your research? I've done my own research, yada, yada, yada. All of that stuff is just total bullshit. Like, they haven't done any research. They read YouTube comments. I'm not saying they're wrong about everything. I'm saying that even in the little instances in which they're correct, they're wrong about a lot of the big things. And the left loves to admonish. That's the tool that we use to police ourselves. I made a video the other day in which I pronounced Kamala Harris's name Kamala, or Kamala, whatever I said. And I got immediately comments being like, hey, you need to say her name correctly. Sure, I should do that. But you know what? It didn't fucking matter. Nobody who voted or didn't vote for Kamala gave a shit about what her name was supposed to be.
Okay,
and
pause.
is it a little bit
Okay, so he's going to go on to say it's a little bit condescending that he says that. Yes, it is. I understand his point, but I do believe that has nothing to do with treating people with respect. You should always treat people respect. I want people to say my name. Do I really care? Like, I'm in a sort of, I believe that people have certain privilege in their lives, right? Certain people do. People would, when people laugh, or like someone from the MAGA people call me, or what's his name? Tucker Carlson will, someone will, Don Lemon. Like, I don't care. Do I care? No. But are they doing it because they're trying to be funny or disrespectful? Yes. Do some people do it because they actually think my name is Lemon? Yes. But I don't think it's bad to correct people, to expect people to respect someone else enough to say their name properly, especially when it's not a hard name. But do I think that you should continuously do it? No. Do I do it sometimes, or did I do it when I was interviewing people? Yes. Not every single time. And usually you can understand the time when people are like, okay, they just got it wrong. They're not trying to be disrespectful. Other people are doing it just right. Because people would call me Don Lamont. People call me Dawn. Or people call me because my initials are DR, right? They'll call me Dr. Lemon, and I'm not a doctor. So I just go, And as Bogan Painter says, mispronouncing her name was not just disrespectful. It was a racist dog whistle. Yes. And so I think that this man is blowing that off a little too much, because that is a check, like, stop being racist in the moment. Now, is he right? Did it matter? No, it didn't matter. And also, if someone admonishes me for getting someone's name wrong and I'm not doing it, and then I would just go, okay, fine, whatever. I didn't mean to say it. I said it, and keep it pushing. And then just keep it pushing, but keep going.
condescending for me to say that? Yeah, a little bit. But also, you know what's more important than that? Trying to keep a fascist out of power. And that tool of admonishment does not work with people on the right. And it's really dumb that we keep trying to use it. These people have no shame. They have no... You cannot shame. You can't...
That's true. So the admonishment, okay, fine. The whole name thing. But that became a racist thing for them to do, and to make fun of someone. Okay, let's go.
You cannot shame. You can't get them. We cannot get them to comply to behavior because we're trying to use shame as a tool. So saying you didn't pronounce her name correctly, or you know what, this is ridiculous that you guys don't care about American history and you're trying to rewrite it. Like, they don't give a shit. They don't care. And none of the useful idiots who voted for them care either. They care about pedestrian problems. Remember the banality of evil, okay? Remember what Hannah Arendt talked about. These are people who want to do things like what? Buy a house, afford groceries, save more money, impress their families. Like, they want to...
The banality of evil is really just about so people can be evil if people are in pain, or they are suffering sort of like economic consequences, or whatever. If there's something that you can hold over them, then they focus on this is the banality of evil. It just becomes so sort of bland and sort of intertwined into other things that you somehow may miss it, because it just becomes, it just becomes so like kind of boring and like expected. Okay, go on, please.
Do really pedestrian things, and that in aggregate, especially when used by someone who is in a position of authoritarian power like a fascist, becomes a weapon, and those people could commit atrocities. And arguing over things like how Kamala's name is supposed to be pronounced, or what the conception of American history is supposed to be, or how come you guys didn't play by the rules, because actually Elizabeth Warren wrote the rule, and they do not care. And the thing that all of the people on the left need to recognize is that they only care about one thing. They speak one language, and that's power. That's it. That's all they understand. Power, and that power roots itself in violence. They have no conception of the truth. It doesn't matter to them. The truth is whatever is useful and whatever continues to gain them power. That's
true. There you go. We won the election in 2020, and therefore we should be able to go into the Capitol or and take it back. I should get the votes. That's what they say. Rooted in violence. For those who try to pretend like January 20th wasn't, the Kash Patels and Hegseths and all of those folks of the world. Rooted in violence. He's right. Keep going.
That's the game that we're in. That's the game that we're in now. That's the game that we're playing. And all of the cool, I'm hip, above it kind of Obama era Democratic politics does not work anymore. And the attitude that I think a lot of Democrats have, which I've even wanted to participate in myself, that has been like, yeah, well, we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. What you guys think about this when you have Humvees rolling down your street deporting your friends because you voted and leopards are going to eat your face. They don't care. They do not care. It will not change a thing. These people have drank the Kool-Aid and jumped in, and they're in for a penny and they're in for a pound. There are already and have been Republicans who do not want to go against the MAGA party line because they're afraid of what's going to happen to them. Just imagine when their leader has even more power. And if you don't think this can happen in America, I would love to hear why in the comments.
What do y'all think about what that man said? I think he's right. I think there was a little beating up on Democrats, but I think overall he's right. And that's why I say to you guys, okay? As someone said in the thing, be more aggressive, be happy, be strategic, talk your shit, but know who your allies are. Don't just randomly demonize. We know, dude, the Democrats try too much to be moral. We can't match the Republicans on, I just missed that. Sheldon Johnson says he's right. I'm looking at it on YouTube and I'm a little bit behind. I'm not looking at the actual live feed. But he's right 100%. He's right. Some of the things I think, like, and that's not admonishing someone. It's easy to say, just like when you correct someone if they say the wrong name. Like if I was talking about Ivana Trump and someone said Ivanka, and you just go in the moment, oh, Ivana. That's not admonish. That's not necessarily admonishing. That is a correction. So when someone says Kamala, I'll just go Kamala. And they go, okay, fine. That's it. You don't have to say anything else. Just keep it pushing. So I don't know if I agree with him on that. He was telling the truth. Democrats need to get more aggressive with messaging. So I think, again, you should be happy about who you voted for, what you voted for. There are always, you can always like look back and do the Monday morning quarterbacking and whatever. You should do the postmortems. You should do that. And then figure out how to move forward and be happy because you did the right thing. And there's no need for you to be upset about it. There's no need for you to be down in the dumps. As a matter of fact, come to this show. I'm going to tell you how to be happy. And guess what? We're going to talk our shit. We're going to talk shit about people. We're going to continue on. We're not going to be like, oh, well, we have to adopt MAGA talking points because the MAGA folks won. Hell no. Ain't nobody doing that shit. No. Nope. Because you care about people, because you care about a woman's right, about women's reproductive health, that's good things. That's a good thing. Because you care about protecting trans people, that's a good thing. That's not bad. Because you care about same-sex marriage, because you care about democracy, because you care about the rule of law, because you are a patriot, because maybe you're a Christian, maybe you're a Muslim, maybe whatever. You believe in religious freedom. You believe in the separation of church and state. Those are all good things. There's nothing wrong with that. The mob is not always right. So I just want to leave you with that. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the hearts. Make sure you subscribe. It is free. And make sure you know that there is a place where you can come to where you're not going to be. I am not the person who is going to be kissing the ring. I am not the person who's going to be both sides. I'm not going to both sides anything. Some things are objectively bad. Well, I must say something. I am not the person who's going to be saying, well, we don't know what kind of people were on the streets and Nazis in Ohio and wherever, Wisconsin, wherever. We know it was the people who voted for Trump. Those are the people. Those are the neo-Nazi folks. Those folks did not support Kamala Harris. They did not vote for Joe Biden. They voted for Donald Trump. Those are far-right extremists who are out there. We are not going to both sides and go, well, the Democrats are so far to the left and they're just doing it. It's not the same fucking thing. We're not doing that here. Are we fair? Yes. But we don't have to bullshit. Okay, everyone. It's turtleneck weather. I'll see you at 5 o'clock. Bye.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And also, we'd love for you to become a subscriber. So hit that button, too. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern, so there's plenty of content for you to check out.